Hey podcaster, I'm Tim Wahlberg, your podcast performance coach with another actionable tip so you can sound like a pro and gain more podcast fans. Today's tip is about introducing your guest. I know what you're thinking. Hey Coach Tim, I'm not an idiot and it's not that hard. You're absolutely right. You are not an idiot and it isn't that hard. So why do I hear so many people do it wrong? I'm going to hit you up with a couple of mistakes some podcasters make that you can avoid and an easy to follow formula to always hit your guest intro out of the park. One mistake podcasters sometimes do is that they don't know when to stop. Your guest's introduction doesn't have to be their life story. My guest today is Jimmy Jackson, president and CEO of a company you've never heard of, author of 2 books, Blah-Biddy-Doo and Blah-Biddy-Don't, blogger of the blog, Just Blogging the Dog, host of the podcast, This Little Podcast, I'm Gonna Let It Shine. He's also a father, a mother, a Rhodes Scholar, and philanthropist. His favorite book is Touchdowns, Why Only 6 Points. He likes sandwiches. His favorite flower to sniff is the begonia. And remember this voice, Jimmy? Yes, that's Mrs. Johnson from Springfield Court in your hometown of Canmore, USA. Look, all you need to do is connect the dots for your listener. Their credentials should be the reason they are relative to your episode. Put them in context and get on with it. You only have to mention 1 or 2 things here. And with that, most importantly, make sure their name and title are correct and that you know how to pronounce their name or business correctly. Research it and then confirm it with them in your pre-interview. Double check that it's current too. A lot of old, out-of-date information lives online. The other mistake podcasters will do is use this introduction time to warm up their guest or for mindless chit-chat. Do that off the air before you start your interview. I don't care how the weather is in Columbus, Ohio, especially on the day that you recorded, which could be a month or a year ago. And I'm going to go out on a limb here and assume that your guest is fine. So don't ask them how they're doing. If they weren't okay, doing well, or super, thanks for asking, they wouldn't be doing your show because they got some other major shit going down. Look, when it comes to the introduction of your guest, you don't have to be a robot here, but after you spit out the goods of your guest, get on with it. You can still make it conversational, and it's okay to thank them for being on your show. You can still be polite, but it's when you start wasting my time as a listener that bothers me as a coach. One last thing, as a host, do your research. Introducing your guest is your job. Don't have your guest do it. Tell us about yourself is not a question. Do not lead with this. I have a whole episode why you should never utter these words. It's episode 19 of Just the Tip. Look it up. You know the reason your guest is on your show. You chose them. Just tell your listener. Here's the formula to introduce your guest right every time. Stick with the basics. Name and title of them and their business. Make sure it's up to date and pronounced properly. And their credentials. Why they're relevant or qualified to be on your show. Just connect the dots for your listener. And look, there are always reasons why you wouldn't or shouldn't use this formula. And it mostly depends on the format of your show. If your podcast is all about in-depth interviews with interesting people from all aspects of life, you may have a different tactic here. But this formula is designed to get you in and on with the show. And I hope that's just the tip you need. Your guest today has been Tim Wahlberg, broadcaster and host of Just the Tip podcast. He's also a podcast editor. That's right. So if you're looking to take the grunt work out of your podcast and start sounding even more like a pro, I can help. Check out my editing packages at podcastperformancecoach.com. I'm Tim Wahlberg. See ya.